All right, guys, we are back. Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 5. I got 5 on it. All right, man, that was one of my favorite songs. Um, where are we? We in the honeymoon. Woo! We are in the honeymoon. Overall, I did not think that this was a I mean, we found out some information, but it wasn't like ooh kind of thing. A little bit with Airris, Lord have mercy. Oh my goodness, that boy. Oh my goodness, that hurt my head. Just thinking about him hurt my head. Okay, yeah. So let me just get into it. Who are we going to do? I have written here. I have as the first thing, is Airris selfish? This is an evaluation because he'll say something every now and again that will show him to be a human being. And then he turns into a narcissist right in front of my face. And I think that that's how he gets away with it. I think that is his mechanism. He figured out a coping mechanism to keep people from calling him a narcissist. And that's what I'm looking to see, if that theory, proves correct. I'd rather him just show me that he is the narcissist than leave me, hanging. But it's not going to take me long. Because I already told you guys that I don't see any Jesus in him. None whatsoever. I just don't. When he was doing that praying at the table, at the wedding table with Jasmine, that was Christianese. So for those who aren't familiar with the Christian religion, I'm going to take a sidebar here. And it's a Handmaid's Tale sidebar. So in order for you to understand what happens in religion, you've got to be able to speak to the people in that religion so that they can understand that you have a level of understanding that allows communication to open up. So that is called Christianese. You've got to be able to understand and speak back to them their language in order for them to be comfortable in your presence so that they can then start talking. And that's what he did. He knows Christianese. And that's what it is. And that's what Cal has done to her. He has put somebody in front of her that I think is dangerous. I really do. I'm praying, Lord, I'm praying for Airris. If his mother is as kind as they say she is, I'm looking for the good in this man. I am searching for it. Now, when he was talking to her at breakfast, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and start talking about them. When he was talking to her at breakfast, that was a really great conversation. Even with the whole bacon thing. Because right now it's still kind of cute and funny. But if he continues to talk about it, then it's not. It's going to turn into something else. But I do appreciate the dryness of his humor. So that's one of the things that is not off-putting to me about Airris. I just see a streak of selfishness in him. And it's not pretty. And it's not going to do anything for her in the long term. So, what else do I have for them since I'm talking? Let me go. Yeah, so they went snorkeling, and that was really good. I actually clipped that down there, too. I clipped the breakfast, and I clipped the snorkeling. So go check that out. I wanted to kind of show them bonding, when he did do something good. I mean, I actually, like I said, I really can see Airris. I can see him. And I'm just waiting on another couple of pieces of information to tell me what I need to know about this Joker. Because, and I say that because I understand that people have a power to choose. Our power is in our choices. And I've talked about this, before. And I am desperately trying to figure out how to make better choices for myself. And I hope this is a good choice, for me. I hope that coming to do these, videos will turn out to be, something that's, very beneficial and will continue to reverberate, for years, to come. So, Those that can agree with that, I appreciate you. So yeah, so I don't see where Airris has the capacity past a certain point. He's going to need some spiritual help in order for him to move where he says that he wants to go. And because I actually do, I believe in the power of the Lord. And I am going to give him, I am going to be just like Jasmine and give him as much grace as I possibly can before I call the game, before I call it. And he is so close. This joker, oh, he is so razor thin right now. Airris is razor thin with me. I'm going to need to see him when he gets off of his honeymoon. And that's going to tell me the rest of the story that I need to know with him. So I have here that conversation that he had with Jasmine. Okay, so where are we? I'm trying to figure out. They're going snorkeling. That was a good conversation. And then I'm trying to think, was snorkeling dinner? And I think after snorkeling, yeah, then they had dinner. And at dinner, I don't know what I saw. I think I saw a duality. I saw him picking her brain to see how she's going to respond to his questions. And I also see him being very immature. And that would link that with being emotional. So remember, I'm looking at him and Shaq, look at their two situations. Shaq is being patient. Shaq is giving his wife respect. He's giving his wife the distance and the time that she needs in order to get comfortable. He's learning how to read her cues. Do you see the difference? And look at what Airris is doing. Look at what he's doing with his wife. Okay? Feed me this. Oh, reach. That was really inconsiderate. That was so inconsiderate. That was ridiculous. And it was embarrassing. Men should be embarrassed to see Airris do this on television. Yeah. That is so not sexy. I don't even know. What kind of... I'm not even going to go there because I'm not going to judge. I can understand why women would be attracted to Airris. Okay? My thing is, how did he stay in that relationship for a year and a half? I can't see him being able... I'm ranting. Thank you. Okay. So, I thought that she did really well in trying to let him know that was a boundary. Yeah, no, I'm not going to talk about what my favorite sex position, is. No, thank you, sir. And I thought her mannerisms, were really cute and nice throughout the whole episode. I am really impressed with Jasmine. She is still weak. I see this girl is weak, and I am praying for the Lord to really, protect her, in this mess. This is just a whole mess that I see forming, before me. And Airris, man, this joker. I have been abused by so many men, emotionally abused, that when I see it, it does something to my spirit. And that is what happened to me in season 15. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it no more. I couldn't take it. And people were expecting Katina to put up with that mess that Olajuwon was giving her. Man, look, that is what drove me here. That whole emotional, and I am not going to be traumatized by Lifetime. Lifetime, you need to do something about this, because this is ridiculous that you would put somebody like Airris with someone, like Jasmine. That is just, I knew it. Go back and listen. I knew it. I said this reminded me of when they put a nut like Isaac with Katina. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I have to calm down. Oh my goodness. Please forgive that rant. Woo. So after dinner, I think the next scene that we see them in is when they're out there with the frisbee. And she says that, no, they're talking. And he finds out that she's a lefty. And I didn't like the way he was throwing that frisbee either. I just did not. Okay, I'm not going to go there with, oh, please let me finish with this so I can stop talking about Airris. Okay. So, he's throwing the frisbee, and then they stop throwing the frisbee, and then they go and talk. And he asks her, when's the, something about being in love. And she was saying her last relationship, she was in love. And he said that he'd never been in love. And do you know what this joker said? He said, I love the game. So yes, you have been in love, Airris. You in love with the game. You are in love with the game. But see, this is the thing that you guys don't understand. The game don't love you. So when it switches around, when the game becomes unfunny and not exciting and dull, and you don't have an appetite for it anymore, then what are you gonna do, Airris? Then who's gonna be there with you? What if you're in an accident and all of your charm and everything you got going on right now is gone? Who's gonna be there with you, Airris? See, this is kind of stuff that idiots like him don't even sit down and try to think about. People have value. He has value. So why would you think that it's okay for you to take somebody on this insanity ride with you? Because this is something that you want to do. Go find you one that is doing the same thing that you're doing, Airris, and y'all go do that together. I don't understand why y'all got to go and mess with other people who are just really trying to figure out how to live. I've been around, oh man. Okay, so whew. So that's concerning to Jasmine because he was telling her about his 1.5 relationship. And she said if he wasn't in love with her, after 1.5 years, then he could easily, do that with me. And I see Nate. Nate pops up straight in my head. I do not know what is going on with these black men that think that they're well enough to get on these shows. You guys are too damaged. You're too damaged for this process. This is not the process for you. I mean, it's almost, I can't even, I have more pity for Airris than I do, for Nate. I actually do. And, yeah, I'm beginning to pity all of them at this point because this is ridiculous to bring this kind of damage in front of us on a weekly basis. He actually had the audacity it's got to be in that clip where he said that he's trying to pull the demon out of her. Look, okay. Yeah, so I guess that's it. That is it. That's it. That's all I need to know about Airris. I'm going to steal. So I have one. And whatever he does when he leaves and go back to the shared living, I have to see him in shared living. And that's going to confirm everything that I'm just telling you right now. He wants to pull the thing. This woman is trying to be a decent human being. Why won't you let her do that? Give her grace. She's giving him so much grace right now. It's insane. And I hope he's telling the truth, that he's going to help her with her mom and with the dogs and stuff. Like I said, I got to look and see, what he got going on when he get back, to civilization or wherever, Nashville. Yeah. Oh man, this joker, he snatches me out straight out of my head. He said, I love the game. Man, that is the story. That is who he's in love with. The game. And he's a mama's boy. My brother was a mama's boy. So I've been around them jokers too. Whoa, child, that's a whole nother conversation. Okay. So where am I? Where am I? So I can stop talking about that. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. So what do we have here? I have Kirsten and Shaq. I guess I'll do them next. They arrive. But you know what? When the episode was coming on and they were kind of giving little vignettes of the couples, Kirsten turned and asked Shaq, how was the conference? And he said that it was good. So in the other upcoming video on the last episode, I showed y'all that clip where she said that she was in the hotel. So you mean to tell me, Married at First Sight, Lifetime, that if she went to this conference, even if y'all couldn't go to the conference, you could have footage of them coming back from the conference together? That's an easy question to have answered. Because when I looked on the after show, Shaq said that the people noticed his ring, and he said that he introduced her as his wife. So we didn't get any of that footage. There was no footage of this Lifetime. So now I've got a conflicting story, because you guys just showed me her in the hotel. You didn't show her coming back with him or leaving out with him to go to the conference. That's so easy. So I don't like what I'm hearing from these two already. You know, this episode, when I was watching it, I really thought that this was a great segment. I thought that they had like a really positive, segment, until I listened to him, in the after show. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, so now I'm confused. And now I can't really have an opinion, about anything, which I actually like, because I need more information to be to have any particular view on what I think I'm seeing, right now. I want to be as objective as I possibly can. So yeah, that was confusing, to me. And why would you need to ask him about the conference on camera? You mean that should have been like the first thing you asked him when he walked in the door. So is this a made for Lifetime moment, you guys? Wow. So they went their excursion. So everybody went on a different excursion. I said that Jasmine and Airris went snorkeling. So Shaq and Christian rode ATVs. And Christian, I keep calling her Christian. Kirsten. Sorry, Kirsten. She loves riding ATVs. She likes she loves the wind blowing through her hair. So Shaq, he says he's more cautious. He's had this PTSD, because that's what PTSD is. A lot of people just don't want to identify with it. This is something that is connected to your central nervous system. Okay? It is responsible for your flight and fight. We have those responses when we experience a traumatic event. He experienced a traumatic event. If those people out there who have never experienced a traumatic event, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. And he's managed to keep himself alive and healthy all these years. Allow him to continue to make those kind of decisions, for himself. I do understand the encouragement for him to live a little. This man has been through a traumatic event with a motor vehicle. And I'm going to respect the way that he feels about it. And his wife should too. I do. Okay. So, and see, no, actually I don't. Because she's supposed to have the love of Christ in her. She's supposed to have the love of Christ in her. And that's what he does. That's the kind of vision and connectivity that he gives you, is empathy for another person's pain and what they and the hell and the road, that they went through to be able to stand in front of you, right then. And she doesn't get it. Man. Okay. That ATV, I don't know if I actually clipped that whole thing, but I know that they showed some of it, on the after show. So go check that out. And let me know, what y'all think about that. And so I'm trying to think. I skipped the part. Where they were in the hotel room after they got off the plane. And that was nice. The thing I wanted to talk about with that, and that what made me think about the ATV, is he has his arm around her. I noticed that, when I was watching it. I was like, oh my goodness. And then he did it again when they got to the spot, for the ATV. So I'm glad that, I was really positive. And then when they finished, they went and sat down, we're talking, and she brought up the kissing, thing again, saying that, she's not really a big kisser. I actually don't know how to believe that. On one hand, I actually can appreciate that she said that since the pandemic, she had a shift in her sense of self. This is fast forwarding to their dinner when they were talking toward the end of the episode. She was saying to him that she kind of went through a shift during the pandemic, and I have too. I am not who I was before that pandemic. Those 2 years really affected my life in a serious way. And so I can appreciate, what she said there. And I also could appreciate the way that she was communicating herself with him when she was letting him know that initially his bald head, was not doing it for her, and how he is actually, growing on her, and she's giving herself that space, and she's asking him to continue to give her space so she can, make that bridge. And it seemed surprising to him because I think he thinks he's a good looking man, and he is. He's right. He is a good looking man. And I don't think that she doesn't think he's a good looking man. He's just not. I think his voice is too soft. And I think that she likes more testosterone to govern him. And that's not what she needs, because she had that. And he cheated on her. And that's something that she doesn't want to understand. She needs to be able to see a man like Shaq. I believe he's heterosexual, but she likes, and I understand that. So I see the quandary, that she's in. Actually, I was thinking about her and Gina, and how everybody's mad because Gina told Clint that his features, his ginger features aren't, normally what she goes for. And if you watch that whole clip, it's going to be with Lifetime down at the bottom. They go from when the conversation was actually a real good conversation. The first part of the conversation was good. And I agree with a lot of other people. She just really could have just left it there and could have revisited it, later. But then she went into the whole, because he was already let down with the first part of the conversation. So when she had the ginger part of the conversation, it just punctuated, it just put another hole in it. So whatever deflation was going on, it just popped it. Yeah, it was a wrap after that. And you can even see Clint's part where he's saying, his disappointment in her being able to give that level of articulation about where she is, in a relationship. And I actually thought about it. And my thing is, I've been a woman my entire 52 years. Okay. So I've been here a little bit longer than all of them. Okay. And the one thing I know about men is when they want to have sex with you, they let you know that they want to have sex with you. they let you know in some way that they want to have sex with you. And this is something that women have had to have an awareness of for a good amount of our lives. And I I wonder what prompted the conversation, because I hear Clint being positive. He's like, "Oh wow, this is wow, the expectation of this." He's relieved that he's cool with where he is. He thinks she's cool with where she is, and they're, figuring out the logistics. We can, you step out with your left foot, I got the right foot, and we're walking this thing out together. So I can see him, being that level of optimistic. And I can also see her being like, okay, cousin, yeah, about that. About that. Let us have the rest of, this conversation about where we are. Because she's actually putting in the work. She's giving Clint kisses. She's being affectionate with him. She's, looking for other things. Like the first part of that conversation, it was really a great conversation. She made a list of all the things, that would endear her to him way more than any way that he looked. And that was a great conversation. He should have actually not been deflated about it. I think she was just trying to be real. And for Clint, it was just a little bit too real, because I don't think he's used to women not being attracted, to him in that way. That's kind of like with him and Airris. I see him and Airris way more like they use what sexuality that they think that they have as their power. And when she gave him the critique, I hope that he takes it as an opportunity to think about it in another way. Apparently, there's going to be a scene in the next episode where he's stating the things that he normally, kind of goes for. But he's doing it in the group environment. So that's one difference that I see, that when she had the conversation with him, it was just him and her. And now, if this is the first time that he's saying this, he's saying it in front of her and the whole group, that would be a little concerning, for me, because that's not congruent. She didn't do that to him. And then I don't know what else he said that would have made the other women, feel uncomfortable. If I need to hear the whole conversation in order for me to feel some kind of way about it. And this is the kind of group thing that it sends me over the edge. I can't stand group thing. I realize I can't stand it, really. And that's what the reviewers, the people who review this show, they are locked up in group thing. Okay, Shaq and Kirsten. I went on a rant, so please forgive me, for that. I mean, I'm trying to give you guys what I've learned. And I've learned that we are in some serious trouble. And you are free to fast forward through anything, that I say. Y'all know. I like freedom and I love choice. Everybody has a choice. You have a choice to listen to me, rant on or not. So I'm not offended, by that. And I do it because I am sick of living in this bullshit. I am so sick of living in this nutty country. It's pure insanity. And I damn near had to become insane myself just to be able to start to figure this mess out. So anybody that is on this journey with me, I actually am going to take this opportunity to ask for your support. Whatever support, you have that you want to give to me, I appreciate it. All the way, up to prayer. All right. So they went to dinner, and I thought this was a substantive conversation, between them two. And he was saying to her, Shaq was saying to Kirsten that he wants her to have more intention in her conversation with him, because I heard him saying he doesn't want to get lost in just being able to talk about him. He wants her to be able to bring herself into the conversation so that he can learn about her and not just allow him to carry the conversation on about his work and his visions and how he feels and that kind of thing. So I thought that was substantive. And she said that she needed from him to make sure that he stays emotionally connected to her, and that he, what else did she say? She said that he not talk at her, that he speaks with her. And he said that he understood because he felt, he got from what she said that it's his mechanism to try and listen to respond and give, I'm thinking, an academic answer. And so that, I guess he's thinking academically, because I can see that. And maybe that's, where her kind of conversation, is coming from. She wants it to be more from him as human Shaq. And they've already talked about that they have this tendency to give other people the impression that they're doing better than they actually are. But, I think that's cultural. I have, a lot of that, tendency, in my life. So I can really identify, with where they are. And I'm interested to see if that's something that they're going to be able to really tap into. So I'll try to make a note, about that one. That's something that I'm looking for. Okay, so she said, yes, don't do that. None of us are perfect, so don't try to give me any perfect answers. I'm going to make a note, Kirsten. Don't try to give her any perfect answers, because he had to ask the perfect question in order for you to be willing to give him a kiss. So I don't know if I trust how you're going to respond to his answers the same way that you responded to his question. Just throwing that out there, as well. Because I see tear in her. She's not weak. I don't see nothing weak about Kirsten right now. And so, on the after show, like I said, listening to Shaq say that Kirsten is different in front of the camera versus behind the camera, that's concerning, to me. And I don't know if it's all on her. Like I said, I've had some discrepancies with both of what they said. So at this point, I don't feel any way for either one of them. I probably would have been higher with him if he hadn't done that Jackson, Mississippi move. That did something, you know what I mean? Because I don't own anything else but my time. And it's going to be up to me what I do with it. Nobody else gets to make a decision about what I do with my time. Okay. So it really kind of hurt when I hear Kirsten say things to him like, oh, I was going to call you handsome. And then hear him say, yeah, she don't want to be touched, when she's when she's not on camera. But then you in the little swing with her, Shaq, saying, yeah, but when we together, we touching. So y'all going to have to get this story straight. I mean, are you touching when y'all are together? Is she different, in front of the camera, out of the camera? Kirsten, is he handsome or not? Is his bald head? Why won't you kiss the man? If you think he's handsome, then why won't you give him a kiss? This is confusing to me. And I hope that I am now coming to the end of my conversation about these two people. Okay, yes. And the last thing I said, because Kirsten, when she was making that toast, she told Shaq to just relax. Well, why don't you take your own advice, Kirsten, and just relax? Moving on. Okay. I'm going to leave Kristen the call for later. And I'm going to talk about Gina and Clint. Oh, and then I still have to talk about McKinley and Dom. Okay. So I clipped down there the waterfall excursion. Go check that out. I got some of that. And at this point, now that I'm thinking about when Gina's talking about the ginger conversation, sometimes when people are trying to be too positive and they just keep saying, oh, wow, we're really getting along. Oh, wow, we're really getting along. Oh, wow, we're really getting along. But I also understand it from Clint's perspective is that he's using it as a measurement, which I think is perfectly legitimate, since they are this new, to the process. So I really see a lot of energy, shifting happening during this episode. And I always say, Gina, she said, what did she say? She was like, oh, this is the ultimate honeymoon challenge because they had to be locked up with each other in that van, in and out of that van for 3 hours when they thought that it was only going to be maybe like an hour and 30 minutes. But I congratulate them, for that. And it just shows you that that's the level of energy that you're going to have to continue to put out. You can't afford to slack off. And that's kind of what the vibe I got with the second part of that conversation when they're in the cabana. She's talking about his gingerism. I think she got too comfortable. And you can't afford to do that. You guys cannot afford to get that level of comfortable. Because you don't want a man getting that comfortable with you. So you can't do that, to them. You've got to be mindful of what you say. Just like you would your customer. And I don't even understand why people treat their customers better than they do the people at home. I mean, it's insane. You will bend over backwards. You will listen upside down and sideways, to your customer. But then when it comes to your wife or your children, then y'all just gonna have to figure it out. I said it, and just go in there and sift and figure it out for yourself. That's another rant, okay? Every time they say stuff like that, you're inviting trouble into your life, Gina. I know that was an achievement, and that's what she was trying to tell us. But then look at the troubled waters. Look at the storm clouds, that are ahead of you. And just stay mindful. And I have a video down there with the after party when it's talking about stay cognizant about what you say. And there are two things in it. There's two reasons why I clipped that video. It's because I wanted you guys to be able to see what she had to say at this time that they're showing us, about it. And I actually appreciate, her conversation. The other part is with the guest person that they had on there. She was like, okay, y'all are just being like too honest. I need some lies to be sprinkled up in here, so that we can keep some balance, in this situation. And I see it from two sides as well. Because in America, our whole system is built on a lie. The Constitution is a lie. The Declaration of Independence is a lie. All that, everything that we are looking at right now is an entire lie. The religious system is a lie. We are inundated with lies. Santa Claus is a lie. The Easter Bunny is a lie. They start lying to us when we get here. And it's crazy. That's what we're living in. We're living in the super lies. And when Americans get too much truth, they tend to resent you for it. It's the same thing that is biblical. Jesus showed up with too much truth, and they resented him for it. The religious people resented him for it because they didn't like it. They didn't want to go and listen to anything that he said. You can't drag a Christian in front of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You can't drag them jokers to go and look and read those books and get in front of him and find out what he said. They'll get mad at you. That's the world that we live in. Everybody in this country loves a lie. It is succulent. It's like eating a Twinkie. That's how good it is. That was how delicious it is. And I see what she's talking about because it makes for better television and this, that, and the third. But if this is where she is. She's got to hear Clint. She's got to sleep next to Clint. She's got to kiss Clint. She's got to, hug Clint. She's got to watch Clint eat. She's got to listen to him talk. It's a lot. It is a lot. And I can see her wanting to let him know at this point, with all of the information, that I have at this, at this point, this is where I am. And so I think that's part of where she was coming from in her conversation, too. It is a lot. And she knows way more about Clint than Kirsten knows about Shaq. Okay? So everybody has more information about their husband than Kirsten does because she's closed herself off. She's kind of made a cocoon for herself and given herself time to see, how she's going to navigate, this water, with him. So I can respect that she wanted to kind of put that out there because I can remember Clint saying on the honeymoon that he was ready. She wanted to, hop on top of that chandelier. He was down for the cause. And like I said, I am sure that there are times that she understands that that's something that he's interested in. And like I said, I look at her and Kirsten. Kirsten is keeping Shaq away from her because she doesn't want the kiss to make him go somewhere else. She wants to keep him right here in this state of being because if he gets any other ideas in his head or somewhere else, in one of his heads or in both of his heads, then she doesn't want to put herself, through that. She doesn't want that energy, being brought onto her. So I really do understand where she could possibly be coming from. My thing is, girl, this is not the show for you. You need to be at home watching this with the rest of us. What is wrong with you? What are you thinking about? Why are you taking us through this mess with you? Girl, they could have went and found him a woman that is ready for this process. See, I told you. That's why her daddy did not want to go to the wedding. He was like, yeah, this girl, no. And I agree. I actually agree. I'm so disappointed with Kirsten. I really am. But we shall see, what kind of decision making, they do. So back to Gina. And the other thing I want to say about Gina before I close this out is her mouth looks like a fish. I'm sorry, Gina, your mouth looks like a fish. And I saw that when she was in the cabana. And I don't know if you can unsee that. Anybody that wants to give me a comment, let me know, please. But that's just what I thought about. So if I have anything else for you guys, let me look and see what is in my notes before I sign out. Okay, I'm at 42 minutes. That's good. I was hoping I wouldn't be longer. Because, child, if I'm at an hour, I'm like, oh, Lord, I don't want to be here at an hour. I think that's it. Let me see if I get off. Okay, let's see. Oh, thank you. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not even done. I got to talk about Chris and Nicole. I got to talk about Dom and Mac. So, yeah, Dom and Mac, they get up. And their thing, what is their thing, is getting on the catamaran. They're getting on the catamaran. I see Dom in this as, she's being gracious. She's really giving Mac a lot of grace. And I actually appreciate that, with her. I love her smile. That girl's smile is dynamite, okay? She needs to be in ads, okay? Yeah, so anyway, where am I? Mac is not so exuberant about it. I thought that I understood Shaq more than I understand Mac. I don't understand why Mac would be as babyish, as he is. And he's corny. So I got that written down here too. Yeah, so good. I got all those. He is corny, and she is giving him a whole lot of grace. And like I said, I hope that he can really, appreciate the effort. He did say that on the video, I think, when they were in the pool. Or when they were at dinner. He might have said when they were at dinner that he appreciates the time that she's giving him, like with her patience and, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, okay, I'll do it. So she's like, okay. And then with his corniness, this boy's corny. So anyway, it's down there, it's clipped. But I still think he's cute. He's just corny. So I think I got that. So let me see. I have Chris and Nicole. So the thing I liked about when they were having their breakfast is that they were coming off of their serious, conversation from the last episode. And they acknowledged that, yeah, it was kind of deep. And what I like to see from them, I like to actually see them have more light moments than deep. Because I think I'm getting somewhat of a mix from Shaq and Kirsten. We're now getting some mix from Clinton and Gina. We're getting a mix from the rest of them. And I'm not getting as much of a mix from these, two. Yeah, even Dom and McKinley, we haven't even gotten into any real drama with them. We've gotten to her being annoyed, but we haven't gotten to any, but I can still see somewhat of a mix, between the two. And I'm not seeing as much that I'd like to see, with Chris and Nicole. They are the favorite couple. I really am hoping that these guys can sit down and figure this out. This would be really great to watch, as a human experiment for us to all be able to learn from. And I thought that when they were at breakfast, she said that her goal is to create new memories so that they can expunge, the old ones. And I thought that was really, really great. And she said that she wanted both of them to get as much information as they can about each other before decision day so that they can make the best decision, for themselves. And that's exactly the way, that I think. So I really appreciate, her communication, on that. And so their excursion was rum tasting. And I thought that was kind of cute, that she wanted to sip it, but he was like, yeah, no, baby, you got to, this is a tasting. So I don't think I clipped that. If Lifetime clipped it, then, I'll put it, down there too. But I don't think I did. But it was cute, between them. Had them out there dancing. Yes. And she was telling him about old Nicole and new Nicole. And I appreciated her leaving him at new Nicole. She didn't talk about new Nicole and then talk about old Nicole. She left him at new Nicole. This is the Nicole that you should expect to see in your life. And he said that he appreciates that and he's not going to tolerate being disrespected. And hey, you already know how I feel about that. I do not do that. And I don't expect anybody else to do it for me. If I'm being disrespectful, let me know. And if it's something that I need to apologize for, I will do that. So I have down here that Chris laid down his boundaries. And then they were at dinner. And I loved her dress too. I thought it was really nice. He complimented her. And they talked about children. I thought that was a substantive, conversation. He wants two, a boy and a girl. She says that before marriage, she wasn't really interested, but she's open to the idea now. And I think, as they grow together and it's something that she can get on board with. And she asked, when should we revisit this conversation? He said in about a year, which I thought was fair because they do have to take this time to kind of figure out other things, about each other so that they can start doing that family, planning. And I thought that her asking him if he was in love with her, that was crazy. But he did say that he could see himself, falling, in love with her. And she asked him if most of the decision about having children is going to weigh on her. And I thought he gave her an excellent answer that no, that's something that they both have to decide, together. So I think that's it. And that is going to be my review of this episode. I got 5 on it. So I will see you guys on episode number 6. I actually really appreciate all my new subscribers. Please, 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 please support me on this channel. I love and appreciate that. And yeah, until next time.